For as long as mankind has existed, we have looked to the stars in awe and wonder, dreaming of shedding our earthly tethers and exploring the stars. Astronomy is one of the oldest aspects of science. Over 1,000 years of our knowledge of space grew leading up to the 1960 space race, where the United States was able to travel to the moon, opening the door to space travel today. Satellites send information across the world in seconds, and probes give us high-definition images of planets, stars, and black holes. Now the door has been opened to the idea of traveling to the planet Mars. This opens up many new questions. Unlike on the moon, Mars astronauts will have to stay on the planet for extended periods of time. While NASA and other organizations are working on how to get astronauts to the planet, one aspect of Martian living is overlooked. How will we eat on Mars? While this may seem like an obvious question, there are currently no viable worked out plans. This aspect has not been given the attention many other aspects of the Mars mission have. While the current solution proposed is sending up MREs, this will severely limit dietary capabilities and length of missions. The food will be extremely heavy, and after running out, astronauts will have to leave the planet or starve. This leaves astronauts with one more solution: grow food on the planet. The first way is by growing food in Martian soil, the same way we do on Earth. However, this comes with a few problems. See, Martian soil kinda sucks. For one, it's not really like the soil we know on Earth. It's chemically similar to a mixture of dirt, sand, and clay, which is not conducive to growing plants. However, there is one plant we can grow in this environment: the mighty potato. Okay, I know what you're saying. Aiden, there's literally no way Martian soil is able to grow anything. It's literally red sand. And to that I say, think again, dear viewer. In order to grow any plant anywhere in the universe, a few things are needed. Sunlight, water, pH, and nutrient-rich soil are all needed in order to grow any plants anywhere. First, we have to modify the soil a little bit. In order to simulate Martian soil, I'm using a mixture of sand, clay, and dry dirt. However, there is an additional concern. In 2008, a NASA rover did the first ever wet chemical analysis, and it was found 0.6% of the soil was made up of perchlorates. These are salts that can disrupt the body's metabolic system. These perchlorates can interfere with your thyroid, affecting mood, appetite, temperature, and hormone production. Now you may think 0.6% isn't that much. However, over the course of a Mars mission, a person could consume around 3 milligrams a day for 18 months. This is more than enough to begin to affect humans adversely. However, there is a very simple solution to our problem: washing the soil. In order to make the soil safer to grow in, it will be washed and heated. The process is very similar to extracting any other salt from soil. By letting the salt dissolve in the water and then heating it to boil away the water, we remove the perchlorates and allow us to grow our food without adverse effects. Now that we have our soil, we can begin to try and grow food. However, Mars soil lacks the chemicals that Earth has in its soil. Many of these nutrients are essential. Nitrogen, for example, is essential for plant structural development and chlorophyll creation on Earth. Plants absorb nitrate, also known as NO3, from the soil through their roots. This nitrate then moves into the plant's vascular system. Once inside the plant, the enzyme nitrate reductase catalyzes the first step of the reaction process. Nitrate reductase converts nitrate into nitrite. So, while bacterial processes help fix nitrogen, giving Earth's soil ideal conditions for growing, in the near vacuum of Mars, we won't be so lucky. Now, while we can simply bring fertilizer from the Earth rich in nitrogen and ammonia, the weight demands are too heavy. When bringing things into space, it will cost an average of $10,000 per pound. However, our astronauts are not out of luck yet, thanks to poop. Yes, gross, I know, but human feces actually contains many of the chemicals needed to grow plants. Now, you may be saying, if this is such a good idea, why don't we use it here on Earth? Well, we do, and we have been for some time. Thousands of years ago, civilizations in Europe and Asia recorded using human waste in agriculture, and due to their great results, this was common practice. A study in 2013 found 55% of US sewage solids were used as fertilizer for plants. Not only is it safe, it works and means NASA won't have to waste precious cargo on fertilizers, as well as keeping our Mars mission using the least amount of waste possible, extending the amount of time astronauts can stay on Mars. Now onto water. The soil on Mars is extremely dry and desolate, but with limited water resources, we will need to find a way to efficiently water the plants. A system of drip irrigation will be used, where water can be placed directly into the roots of plants, and with proper timing, we can get an efficiency of 95 to 100%, whereas using sprinklers, only 85% of the water will be absorbed by the plants. Drip irrigation is already used all over the world in the hottest and most arid environments where water is extremely scarce. Now, these conditions aren't ideal, but potatoes are excellent resilient crops, and the criteria met on Mars will be more than enough to sustain potatoes. In my experiments, I used regular fertilizer instead of biosolids, but I was still able to sprout potatoes, and I anticipate they will grow to full size in about 40 days. Now you may be asking, can a human even sustain themselves on just potatoes? Well, the answer is a shocking yes. Chris Voigt, director of the Washington State Potato Commission, yes, that's a real thing, ate only potatoes for 60 days and suffered no adverse health effects. However, life on Mars will be tough, and our astronauts will need more than just potatoes. Vitamins like A, B12, and calcium are all essential for the human body and not found in potatoes. In order to supplement the astronauts' diet, we will use hydroponics. Hydroponics is the science of growing plants and water without soil. Since there is no soil present, nutrients and oxygen become chief concerns, and creative ways of delivery have to be used. Hydroponics can grow nearly any vegetable that grows on a small to medium-sized plant. Using hydroponics, I grew basil, cucumbers, and tomatoes. In order to demonstrate how these systems will work, I decided to build my own hydroponic setup to compare against the Martian soil. For my setup, I used a 40-gallon container with holes cut in the top. The plants sit in the holes and their roots are in the water. I created special 3D printed cups made of thicker plastics to ensure durability. Using an Arduino kit, I created a temperature and pH sensor. When dealing with hydroponics, pH levels are extremely important to monitor. Water pH can change much more rapidly than soil pH, while soil pH tends to be more stable and can take weeks or months to change significantly due to its buffering capacity. Water pH can fluctuate within minutes or hours. In order to oxygenate the plants, I'm using a fish tank bubbler. This allows the water to keep its oxygen levels and allows the tank to keep using the same water for much longer periods of time, making the system lower maintenance and highly efficient. In order to properly supplement the diet of the astronauts, we will need to carefully pick which plants to grow hydroponically to supplement the caloric and dietary needs of astronauts. I will also be taking the pH into consideration so as to not create any unique hassles for the astronaut to deal with while balancing pH levels. The first plant that astronauts will be growing on Mars is lettuce. Lettuce contains 5 to 15 calories per 100 grams, has a pH tolerance of 5.5 to 6.5, a growth time of only 30 to 60 days from seed to harvest, and provides vitamins A, C, K, folate, and important dietary fibers. While low in calories, this provides many of the nutrients the potatoes are missing. The next plant we can grow on Mars is kale. Kale contains 35 calories per 100 grams, has a pH tolerance of 6.0 to 7.5, a growth time of 50 to 70 days from seed to harvest, and provides vitamins A, C, K, antioxidants, and is high in calcium. This, combined with the lettuce and potatoes, fulfills all major vitamins needed to sustain people on Mars, though I believe peas should also be grown on Mars. Peas contain 81 calories per 100 grams. This makes fulfilling a full diet much easier, and the preferred pH makes this an easy addition to the farm. In my own hydroponic farm, I grew tomatoes. However, I would advise against using tomatoes for Mars missions. Tomatoes prefer a slightly acidic soil, around 6.2 to 6.8 pH. This is a very slim margin that left me using pH tablets constantly to balance the acidity level. This is simply unpractical, and the caloric yield of tomatoes does not justify using them.
There you have it, listener. Your guide on how to farm and survive on the most desolate, hostile environment known to man. If you're ever trapped on Mars with nothing but a few plant seeds and a whole lot of ambition, you can thank me. But for now, thanks for watching.
Hey guys, Aiden here. One question I get asked a lot is, Aiden, why should we care what's going on up on Mars when we have problems down here on Earth? Well, when we focus on space exploration, technologies improve in all sectors, from software to agriculture. NASA has recently started using satellites to help farmers plan their crops better in rural Africa. When we put our heads together and look up at the stars, we end up improving life right down here on this pale blue dot. Thank you all very much.